So the public are finally having their say on Captain Marvel, and unfortunately, it's looking the way most people thought it was gonna go. It's apparently not that good. At this point, I've watched a couple of non-spoiler reviews for the film, and most people have given it either 1 out of 5 or 2 or 3 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. So people aren't really enjoying this film. The people who I know, if they like it, I will like the film. And most of them are saying they didn't enjoy the film, which possibly means I will also hate it. Yeah. And right now I'm just going to go into the Rotten Tomatoes scores, the critics, and the fans, and we're just going to have a dive around and see what's happening there. So let's go. So currently the fan score is at 35%, which is pretty low, to be honest. I mean, I don't think any MCU film has a rotten or a not good score from the public. With this lower score though, I do feel that the film may have been review bombed. I know before there was all the stuff about, oh, has the film really been review bombed? It's all just a lie, and it hadn't been review bombed before. People were just lying about what was happening, fake news and all that jazz. But now I would say it probably has been review bombed. Yeah, I don't think it's probably this bad, but I do think it is bad. And the problem with review bombing a film is that you don't really get a gauge as to how the public really feel about it. Because if everyone's just going out there giving it a 1 star or 2 star or half a star, then you're not getting what the general public feels. Because if you're really against this film, and I would say I'm not really against this film, I'm just not excited for this film. If you're really against it, you're just going to give it a 1 or less than that even on Rotten Tomatoes. And that doesn't really help, in my opinion. Maybe the real score is hovering around 50%, but I mean, even that isn't good. I don't think that the people who dislike the film have outnumbered the people who like the film this much, but I do think there is a heavy portion of people who really don't enjoy this type of marketing and the way they've marketed this film. And again, I think they've shot themselves in the foot here with the way they marketed it, because apparently it's not as much of a heavy smack round the face feminist type of film as you would have thought it would be from the marketing. It's more like a Wonder Woman with like the feminism feel to it. It's like a positive feminism feel. I mean, that was definitely Wonder Woman, had a positive female empowerment feel to it. I don't know if this has that feel, but it wasn't as rammed down your throat as people would have assumed with the marketing this film had been given. So I think they shouldn't have gone down that road with the marketing, and they might feel the repercussions of it in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Because with an audience score this low, this film is not going to have legs in the box office. If the film is good, and this is all just a lie with the audience score and it's all Russian bots, then, you know, it might only have a 40% drop or something like that. But if this is true, it could have a 50+% drop, and that really isn't good, considering it's probably going to open to 105 million maybe, which is good for an opening weekend of a standalone superhero film. But a 50% drop on that really isn't very good at all, or more, even 60%. It all depends on how people like the film and what the talk about the town is, and apparently the talk isn't very good. But now I'm just going to go on to the critic score here, because this one has actually been going down since the last time I saw it. Currently, the critic score is at 81%. Now, I looked at this about 2-3 days ago, and it was hovering 85, 86. So it has come down considerably. And I've checked it up. I know for a fact that 80 or 81% is one of the lowest rated MCU films in the entire series. I think that there was only a couple of films, maybe 5 or 6, that were worse than it. Other than that, it is terrible. And I found something out which I previously had stated that Rotten Tomatoes had gotten rid of, which was the average score. Now, they haven't actually got rid of it. I thought they had, and I was wrong. I'm going to admit I was wrong, because clearly it's there now. I don't think it was there before, but it is there now. So if you click on more info here, it comes up with all this other information, the breakdown of how people scored the film, and it will come out with an average rating there of 6.87%. I said percent. I'm stupid. I meant 6.87 out of 10. I'm glad that either they put that back in or they never took it away and I just missed it. But it was something which I think makes Rotten Tomatoes a better platform, so I'm glad they've kept it in there when they revamped their site. But this is honestly the big one. This is something which is really, really hidden away that people are not talking about at all. And obviously, with the way this film was put forward and how people were like, I'm really against this film, I don't want to see it, that's the reason it's got a 35% with the audience. But if you click on this bar and this tab called Top Critics, which are the people who Rotten Tomatoes are like, you review all these films all the way through the year, you have apparently valid opinions as opposed to others who don't have valid opinions. I don't know how that works. But you review a lot of films, you know your films, and they give them a top critic badge, essentially. When you click on that, the tomato meter drops to 65%. And I know, because I looked it up, that is the 5th worst top critic rating out of any MCU film. The 5th worst. The only ones worse were the Hulk, Thor the Dark World, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. They were the only ones who had a worse top critic score than 65%. Every other film has a better top critic score than, from what I saw, from the information I was given and read, than this. That shows how people really do not like this film. So anyone who says this is an incredible film, it's phenomenal, it's all about this, that and the other, you're talking absolute shit, because apparently people, even the people who are supposed to love the film, who are the shill media, as people say, or what's it called, access media, the people who get access to the films early and stuff like that, they didn't love the film, clearly, if they're giving it a 65% overall and a 6.4 out of 10 as an average rating. So I think that if people are review bombing the film, maybe just consider stopping, because I sort of want to see what people really, what the audience really feels about this, because this could just turn into a huge thing where there are a ton of people who are nutjob feminists on one side who are like, we need to give this film a good score, and everyone gives it a 5. And then there are a bunch of people who are like anti-feminists who are like, oh, I want to give this film a 1. It cancels each other out, and it sort of becomes useless, and I want to see what people think about this. So if you are review bombing it, maybe consider stopping. Obviously, you do what you want to do, but yeah. Am I excited to see this film? At this point, no, I'm not. I'm not going to see it opening weekend. I might see it second, probably third weekend. Again, if there's a good copy online, you never know. I mean, you never know what could happen. You know, if there's a good copy online, this film will lose a lot of money if there's a good copy online. But I'm not encouraging anyone to do that. Do not do that, all right? Don't stream this film illegally. Don't. That's just the latest with Rotten Tomatoes right now and the Captain Marvel film. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Captain Marvel herself will come after you. She will photon you away. She'll do a photon blast in your face. Yes, if you're a man, she will definitely do it to you, especially if you're a white man. And you don't want that, you really don't. Hi, caramba. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. Now, I've been Narendra the Comic. You have been great, and I'll see ya next time. Skadoosh.